Welcome to Newsmakers. In this edition, we learned about a $24,000 teledentistry grant from the state of Missouri that is giving Missouri Southern students hands-on experience while providing a valuable service to the community. My first guest is Jill Pyle, who is the chair of the Department of Dental Hygiene. Tell us, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us, this is very exciting. This grant allows provides needed services in the community and provides students this hands-on event. We had a big event at Sarcoxy schools. Tell us about the services you provided there.
Well, we went into Sarcoxy schools on Friday, September 30th, and we were able to screen 209 students, grades K through 6th at Sarcoxy Wildwood Elementary, and we were able to place 364 sealants on those students. So the students would come in and we set up basically a portable clinic right there in their cafeteria, and our students went, and me and another faculty went, and we would screen and look for caries or cavities in their mouth. And then we had a certain protocol that if their tooth was sound and no caries found there, then we would prescribe sealants by sending that back to our supervising dentist, and that's why it's called a teledentistry grant. And she would prescribe the sealants, and then we were able to place them that day right there at the school.
It kind of took a team. We had, we were there, and someone was doing a lot of paperwork. Was that an important part of the process? Do you have to kind of make sure there's a lot of...
The grant is through Department of Health and Senior Services out of the state of Missouri, and so it's a grant in that there's a lot of data that has to be provided to see how this works, because basically they're using us as a testing source to see how this would work in schools. And so yes, we had to take of course the child has an identification number for privacy issues, and then just male, female, white, Caucasian, and it's a study to see. Also, we go back into those schools and we look at retainment of those sealants too, to see how the sealants are holding up. So we report all that data back to the state with the grant.
So does this also give you an opportunity to educate the students in the school about oral health? And is that part of the program?
Yes. We also work with the PSP program for the state of Missouri as well. So we did screenings, and we placed sealants, and then also there is a oral hygiene education aspect of it, where we give the students actually oral hygiene instructions, and then we place fluoride varnish. So we were able to place fluoride varnish on all 209 of those students. So even if they didn't need sealants, say they already had them, it was a way to get fluoride on those kids' teeth as well.
And it's another opportunity to see that child, because things can develop mid-year, even if a parent had a regular visit.
Yes. We were able to take some intraoral photos, and then we have consent form from the parent, but the permission to see them, but then we also send home what we did with that student, and then tell the parent if they need to go see get some care taken if they have an issue in their mouth.
They may have something greater than a sealant need.
Exactly.
Were other issues discovered?
Yeah, lots of cavities found. Unfortunately, some abscess teeth. And then we send that home and the nurse also contacted the parent, for a referral that they need to be seen by a dentist.
A dentist. All right. So you've received grants in the past, and this is kind of a 3-year grant, right? So the grants in the past have provided this equipment. How important are these mobile units that you took to the school?
Well, they're huge. It's basically, we set up like a mini, dental clinic right there in the cafeteria. So first year they had purchased 3 units, and so from the grant from last year I was able to purchase 3 more portable units. And when I say portable units, that's a dental chair, dental light, the stools, but it's not just that, it's the air water section so that we can place the sealants and suck out the spit and rinse and things like that. So it's literally like a dental clinic.
How is this grant an extension of what you're already teaching our students because we do have a dental hygiene clinic right here on campus.
Absolutely.
How does it kind of extend that education?
So, they learn how to place sealants, and they actually place sealants, or they provide fluoride or oral hygiene instructions in the clinic. But this is just getting them with that elementary age school, that demographic, and seeing what it's like in a community type outreach setting. Because
it was pretty fast paced.
Yes, it's very fast paced. So it's totally different than being obviously in an office. We saw all 209 of those students in one day. And so it's very fast paced, and that, sometimes eye-opening to the students, because, it's the first community event that they've participated in.
Why is that real world experience so important, to learn how to handle a child? I mean, all children are different. There are some who may be very afraid. Is that part of it?
Oh, absolutely. And you might have one student come in and sit and, behave properly or sit still. And then you have the next one that's scared or afraid. You have to learn how to real life, calm that patient down. Some students won't open their mouth as wide, or, it's just dealing with all of those obstacles.
And that's going to happen.
Exactly.
When they try to get a job.
Exactly.
So you also make biweekly visits to nursing homes.
Yes.
Which is another aspect of this program. Tell us about that work.
So we have an additional grant that we go into the nursing home and provide, again, the teledentistry aspect. So I take my students to a local nursing home. Every Wednesday, we split the groups up. We go in and we go over OHI, proper ways to take care of dentures and partials. But we are also now starting in where we're taking the intraoral pictures. We are sending them to Dr. Vic, our supervising dentist with KCU, and she's doing an exam. And then she'll prescribe cleanings or prophies, and then we can go back in and actually clean their teeth there at the nursing home.
I mean, it's not really presumed that everyone has dentures. Are there some who might have?
Oh, no, there's lots of people, though, with natural teeth still, too. Yeah.
So is there a follow-up for all these patients that's part of this, going back and checking on them?
Yeah. So when we went to Sarcoxy, they had just seen grades 2 and 6 in the previous year. So we did a retention check on those.
Well, I mean, it can be hard for parents to get off work, get to a doctor, and
Absolutely.
back. So telehealth
it's
and teledentistry
very
is a good
expensive,
idea.
too. And a lot of these families, unfortunately, don't have the resources to do that.
So is this grant something you can get again, or what is the next step for trying to make this something you can keep on
sustainable doing? So unfortunately, our grant, this will be the third year and the final year. Now, there's other grants that we can apply for and hopefully get. But the purpose of this grant, too, was in order for us to set up Medicaid and be a Medicaid provider. And so with that, if we become a Medicaid provider, then we can charge, for those students that have Medicaid, we can charge out and get reimbursed, and to make it more of a sustainable project. Now we get to keep all the equipment, and so we won't have to repurchase equipment. It would just be for the supplies that we would need.
Excellent. So this grant has you working in collaboration with others, including Kansas City University here in Joplin. Tell me about all the partnerships that you have with this grant and the future with KCU.
Oh, KCU coming to Joplin, Missouri is fantastic. We collaborate with them in not just the grant, with Dr. Vic doing our supervising, prescribing sealants and that dentistry aspect, but she's also our supervising dentist at our dental clinic here. There'll be lots of projects that we will do together in the future, other grants. It's a good for our community because they can come to the clinic here, have an exam, have x-rays, have their teeth cleaned. But let's say there's a person that has a bomb tooth and needs, a filling or an extraction. We don't provide those services at our clinic at Missouri Southern. So this will allow them a place for them to go to get total oral health care and follow up.
So you might refer them to KCU.
Absolutely.
So how do you expect your relationship with KCU and its dental school coming in 2023 to grow?
I think there's a lot of opportunities, and I think a lot of them are being discussed right now. You know, they're just now doing their interviews for their dental students, which is opening up in the fall of 2023. But I believe, you know, we have the new MoKeeps program, which is a program through Missouri Southern and Kansas City University for the dental school. It's a way for them to get a 3-year degree here in biochemistry and then automatically be accepted into their dental school program.
What a great pathway for students.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think there'll be a lot more to come as we, you know, get together and decide collaboratively what we're going to do.
Yeah. And all this training, which is great for the students, is also good for our community.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, dentistry is expensive. It gets expensive. And this will be great for, you know, we have the Joplin Community Clinic, but a lot of that is just going and getting extractions. This is going to offer more, you know, restorative. Like, what if you don't want to extract your tooth and you'd rather have it saved and have a root canal and a crown? These are going to offer more expensive procedures for patients in this area.
Even those with insurance, it can be costly.
Exactly.
So for those who don't, this is a great option.
Absolutely.
Well, Jill Pyle, thank you. You're doing great work in the community and here at Missouri Southern. When we come back, we will be joined by 2 students from the dental hygiene program to talk about their experience working in the community. But first, we talked with the Sarcoxy School superintendent about the impact of the event at his school district and an MSSU dental hygiene student whose work visit there was also coming home. Sarah Dotson is a part of a big team of dental hygiene students delivering care to more than 200 kids at Sarcoxy's Wildwood Elementary.
It makes me feel kind of like a kid again.
That's because this is her hometown and her school.
I went to Sarcoxy from the time I was in kindergarten till 2018 when I graduated.
But it's kind of cool to see a former Wildwood student back doing this to Wildwood students now.
I think this nostalgia is real today. I think it's great being able to give back to the same community that I grew up in, all while working towards the career I'm building towards.
Sarah is a senior in the MSSU Dental Hygiene program. Through a grant from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services, students are working to give students at Sarcoxy schools and others dental exams, sealants, and fluoride education.
I think we give these kids opportunities that, you know, they might not be able to get otherwise, and it's great because, you know, decay and caries is the #1 disease in children.
This is convenient, it's free, they come to us and see the kids, and, you know, we're very appreciative that they chose us to do it this year.
Great resource for our families, great resource for our kids to have this here, local. They don't have to take off work for it. Just more of a convenience, but still get good service from Missouri Southern.
Well, it's an extra checkup. I mean, just she already goes regularly, but I figured it's extra and, you know.
For Mom Kaya Booth, there's one word she hopes she doesn't hear.
Well, a cavity. So, yeah, I hope they don't find a cavity, but I mean, if they do, I mean, I'm glad they find it, so take her in, so.
Nurse April Jones coordinates for the school district and says it's a benefit for families in outlying areas and those without dental insurance. The students return for follow-up exams and, equally important, educational messages.
February is Tooth Month, so they come in and they do a program for the kids where they do a teaching lesson for all of the kids, so it's really helped me out too, that they come in, the kids love it, they show them how to brush again, they show them how to floss, they watch a skit that they do, and the kids really enjoy it.
Besides technical skills that they're putting to work, Sarah says there's a lesson in the dynamics of personalities, especially with kids.
I think it puts our patience to the test for the most part.
Welcome back to Newsmakers. The MSSU Dental Hygiene program recently screened more than 230 students at Wildwood Elementary School in Sarcoxy. We're joined by some of those students who did the work, Haley Stearns and Cameron Graff. Ladies, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
So let's start our conversation with a little bit of just why you wanted to be a dental hygienist. Cameron, why don't you start us off?
So growing up, when I went to the dentist, I was very scared of it. I had a really bad experience. one time, and that just made me like scared and fearful of the dentist. And I want to be that change because there's a bad stigma behind the dental field, and I feel like we need to be out there and like having more positivity in the field and just being that like, hey, like it's okay, like we're not here to scare you, we're not here to like hurt you or anything, we're here to like help you and like prevent you from having like major restorations or anything like that. So I think it's important to like be that change and that positivity in the field that needs to be done.
And you think you can do that as a dental hygienist?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And sometimes it's just putting people at ease, right?
Yes, yeah, like making sure like, you know, they're okay and like they're in good care and like they understand like you're not there to hurt them, you're there to like help them, and it's really important like those people know, like your patients know that too.
All right, Haley, why did you want to be a dental hygienist? You even after you had another medical career.
Yeah, so I started out as a CNA because I knew I wanted to do something in healthcare, but I decided nursing and like medical doctor kind of thing wasn't for me. And I kind of assessed our healthcare system and what I think I would fit really good into. And I really love that hygienists focus a lot on preventative medicine. I think if there's one thing in our healthcare system that's really broken, it's not focusing enough on what we can prevent. It's more about putting a Band-Aid on what's already broken. So I'm really excited to be a part of something that helps prevent disease.
Excellent. So both of you got to take part in this big event going into the schools. Let's talk a little bit about the work you did there. And part of that care requires, let's start with like setting up your stations. Is that kind of involved? What did you have to do? Was it lugging a lot of equipment there?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot of manpower and muscles. A lot of our equipment is very heavy, and we had to get a massive trailer to load all of our equipment in, and then we had to unload it and put everything together right there on site. And to make sure that we seen all the kids, we had to do it in a timely manner. Like we didn't have time to like mess around or anything. It was like go, go, go. Like we got to put this together. So
Very early start.
yeah, very early start.
And being sanitary is important. So you had to also like set up kind of a station for cleaning the tools. What does that take and why is that so important?
Yeah, so what we normally do is we use something called Sandy wipes, and we wipe everything down. That was normal for us. But we brought a mobile sterilizing unit with us to help sterilize instruments in between kids. So we had somebody walking around collecting dirty instruments, getting those put away, making sure those get sterilized, and then using the clean instruments that have been sterilized back on the students again. It was kind of like a rotation effort.
So give me an idea of what it was when you put a student in that chair. What did you have to do? Do you talk to them first? You know, give me an idea of how you had to handle them.
So the first and foremost, kind of like piggybacking off of why I started this, you have to ensure like the patients, like the kids are okay. And like there's some of them, a lot of came in, they were like closing their mouths and like they were scared of us. And you really have to like talk to them and be like, we're here to help you. Like you had to kind of put the terms in like younger kids. Like you had to like put it in life aspect and like, oh, like I'm just like, you know how you paint your nails, I'm gonna paint your teeth like a pretty material and things like that. And so like you had to ensure like you really did a thorough job of explaining what you're going to do and like what everything in your hand was gonna pertain to their mouth so they understood and like they were at ease and like less scared.
Was it hard to put the kids at ease? I mean, did you find different attitudes in the children that you saw?
Oh yeah. I love kids, so like I found it very easy to like talk to them. I grew up with like little sisters, so like I kind of like had like a background and like I know one little girl, she came in with like her mouth like completely covered and like wouldn't move her hands or anything, and like it took a lot more time to talk to her and like a lot more understanding for her, but once we like talked her through like the process and everything like that, she was more willing to. And like some kids were just like, okay, I'm ready, like open my mouth, like I'm ready to go. So there was a difference, and it was really cool like to have that education.
Haley, do you feel like you developed strategies from doing this with like, okay, this worked, this didn't work?
Yeah, so that was kind of my first real experience with kids, and it is such a spectrum because some kids are so brave and they're like, I don't care, like I'm gonna tough it out and I'm gonna get it done. And some kids are like, heck no. So you just kind of have to like work with what you're given, kind of roll with the punches. Luckily, I was in a group with a girl who worked in a children's dentist office before the program, so she had really good narratives that I could kind of piggyback on, like, yeah, you know, we're just gonna brush your teeth and, you know, this doesn't hurt. We're just gonna take a look. We're just gonna count your teeth or whatever, you know, because they see the tools and they get scared. But if you tell them, oh, we're just gonna count your teeth, and then you count out loud, 1, 2, 3, it's to them, it puts them at ease. And I think that was something I had to learn to adjust my thought process to a child. So that was an adjustment, but it was really cool.
So explain some of the care that you were able to give to the students, besides like a cleaning. Tell us what's the process of you're examining the students. When did you have to sort of call for help? They said sometimes you took pictures. Tell us what you guys did.
So the student would sit down in the chair, and then our professors would come over and they would give a dental exam, kind of see like the visible caries that we had, and the sealants that they needed, and then they would like go off to the next student. And that meantime, we would place the sealants, and that student would get sent off to like the fluoride station. They get fluoride, OHI, which is oral hygiene instructions, kind of get taught how to brush your teeth, and they were left like a little goodie bag. As for the teledentistry and like the pictures and things like that, we saw some caries that like were very concerning and like needed to be seen ASAP to a dentist. So we took those pictures just to have on file and to send to our supervising dentist. I saw a student that had caries in like almost every tooth, and that was very heartbreaking to see, because it was really hard for her to eat and things like that. So it was very heartbreaking, but I'm very glad we did it because we were able to educate her and like get those pictures, get sent to a dentist so she can eventually be seen.
It really showed you how it's a needed service that
Yes.
you're delivering. How does that make you feel?
Really good, because like I said earlier, I think preventative care is something we don't focus on enough. And especially with oral care, I feel like people just don't understand its level of importance in their overall bodily health. I think people tend to detach what their oral health is from their whole body, that they're like separate things, but they're really not. And so being able to start young with the kids and like educate them on what is really important, I think is really cool. And I was really excited to see like we are actually going to be doing some good here.
So some of it was documenting. Some of it, did you actually give sealants? How many did you give? Did you get to do every part of the station? Like what were some of the jobs and different roles you all played as a team?
We worked in a rotation and there was a schedule. So we all got to do all of the jobs that day. So at one point you might be placing sealants, but then at another point you might be doing the documentation, and then maybe you move over to OHI. So we all got to kind of participate in everything that day.
Was anything something you thought, okay, it was fast paced. Why do you think, what is the benefit when you do it that way and working as a team? What do you think some of the lessons you learned out there in the field? So
Teamwork is very important. You can't do it all by yourself. It's very important that everyone's on their A game and everyone's participating and not slacking off, and everyone's like wanting to get the kids in and get seen. I think it's crucial to go like that fast pace, because we've seen so many students and we're able to expand our education to them and like our services. If we did like 20 minutes per kid, like over explaining things like that, like we wouldn't be able to see as many kids as we did.
How long was the process for like per student, or was it different for each kid?
It just depends kind of what the kid had going on in their mouth. But really like 4 to 5 minutes maximum in the chair. That's assessment, sealants placed, and documentation.
I think people would wish every appointment was like
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
It doesn't take that long, but usually there's more to it. How do you compare this work that you did to what you do in the clinic and your learning here at Missouri Southern?
Well, in the clinic, I think we have a larger opportunity for like full assessment. Our doctor, we get to take x-rays. Our doctor can come over and do a full assessment. And even though we did have teledentistry, it's more like a triage situation. You go in with the mindset of we're going to do the most good that we can do with what we have today. So I think that's really the biggest difference.
So tell me some of the things you do while you're working here in clinic on campus that you're learning, and how this hands-on experience is so valuable.
So it really prepares us for our field outside of college and things like that. We start off with medical history. We find it crucial to like get all your medications and things like that, so we know like the best of care for you. We do an EOIO, which is an extra oral exam, and we do oral cancer screenings as well. I think that is very beneficial because some people don't see under their tongues or things like that. And we document like every little thing that we see in your mouth. We'll do a perio and calc assess on your mouth, just kind of see where the calculus is in your periodontal. We take x-rays, we'll do OHI. We'll do a plaque index, because some people don't see how well they're brushing until you paint like this material on there and like, oh my goodness, like I'm missing all these spots. So it's really crucial that we do that. And then we begin with the cleaning, and we'll give anesthesia if needed, and we'll just do our best ability to clean your mouth and polish you when you're on your way.
Do you have a lot of patients who might need anesthesia or might need that something to prepare them for a procedure?
Yeah, so whenever we have SRP, which is like scaling and root planing, you'll have to do anesthesia. We both just finished our case studies, and those require anesthesia because you have to do like a better in-depth cleaning. They have a lot more calculus, which is like more tenacious and like hard to get off, so you're really like working at it. And so anesthesia is very important because it helps with the pain.
Yeah, and so that the patient doesn't feel like
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, no discomfort within or
creating
anything.
the fear that
Yeah.
you described so much
Yes.
in the beginning that you even had.
Yes.
So you can relate to how that makes patients feel. So overall, what do you feel like you take away from being in the community? Why do you think it's important that you guys get to do this work?
First of all, I think building relationships is really important. But kind of like what I said earlier, people don't really understand how important their oral health is to their whole entire body. They are connected. Anything that goes in your mouth affects your whole body. Anything that's wrong with your mouth can affect your whole body. There's preterm birth, preterm labor, infective endocarditis. That's a heart condition. That's caused by bacteria in your mouth. So,
And can the mouth also be reflective of, hey, if you have a problem in the mouth, it might tell you you have another issue?
yeah, so there's a lot of oral pathologies that we can see in the mouth that can be indicative of a larger issue. Of course, that's not something we can diagnose, so we refer them out. The doctor will come over and look at it and say, hey, I think you should probably follow up with your primary care physician. But yeah, I think it's so important because if we're out in the community showing that this is important to us, that you guys understand, I think that can make a larger impact on them to see, yeah, it is really important. Like if they're willing to come out here and spend the time to teach me how to brush my teeth, maybe it is more important than what I think it is.
Yeah. So you've also had the chance to work in nursing homes. Give us a little bit about how that feels and what that experience is like.
So for nursing homes, a lot of the patients that we see aren't able to actually come to our clinic. So I think it's very important that we bring it to them because like your teeth are like very valuable. You eat with them, like if anything's wrong with them, like she said, like it affects your whole health. And so we go in there and we have gradually worked on it. So we met the patients, we brushed their teeth, taken intraoral exams and things like that. And then we'll actually we'll bring our mobile units as well, and we'll begin cleaning them and like ensuring that they're getting their care that they need because they're not able to like go to the clinic and things like that. So it's important that we bring it to them and allow them to have
It's
the
also
services.
a different age group of people. Is there a different mentality of that age group?
Yeah, sometimes you get the people who are like, I don't care. And then you get the people who are like, oh my gosh, tell me more about it. But I think it's no matter what, always important to make sure that people understand how important their oral health is. And I love that we go in there and do that for them.
Well, thank you for all you're doing and good luck on your efforts here at school and when you get graduated and out into the community. Thank you both for sharing your
Thank you so much.
I'm Lisa Alligas for Newsmakers.